9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let the record reflect that all commissioners are meeting electronically, except for Commissioner Smithson, who is absent this evening. I will start by reading a prepared statement for our electronic meeting. As you may know, Governor Bill Lee issued Executive Order 16 on March 16 and extended its provisions by Executive Order 34 on May 6, Executive Order 51 on June 29, Executive Order 60 on August 28, Executive Order 65 on October 28, and Executive Order 71 on December 22nd. These orders were issued to ensure that government continues to function openly and transparently during the COVID-19 emergency, while taking appropriate measures to protect the health and safety of citizens and government officials. In his orders, Governor Lee emphasized that in the interest of limiting the community spread of COVID-19, private and governmental entities of all types should eliminate large public gatherings and conduct business remotely by electronic means to the greatest extent possible. The orders provide that governments may meet to conduct essential business by electronic means when the governing body determines that doing so is necessary to protect citizens. Sadly, COVID-19 continues to spread across the state and Williamson County. Therefore, the city has determined that in the interest of protecting the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans and the citizens of Brentwood, it is necessary for the Board of Commissioners to meet partially electronically rather than in person. We have posted the link for public viewing on the city's website and social media pages, and we have disseminated the same to the media. Is there any objection by the Commission? Seeing none, we will proceed with our meeting in accordance with the State of Tennessee's Governor's Executive Orders number 16, 34, 51, 60, 65, and 71. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the October 26, 2020 meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner McMillan, second by Commissioner Gorman. Mr. Bednar?
Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn?
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman?
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis?
Aye.
And Mayor Little?
Aye. Passes unanimously. We'll now go to our reports. The first report is the Emergency Communication District's quarterly revenue and expense report. Mr. Bednar?
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, you have the report in front of you provided by the Finance Department that shows through the first 6 months of the year, we are at 80% of budgeted revenue, and that's primarily due that it's that high because of a one-time payment from the state that's intended to try to help make up for the new fee that went into effect January 1. They provided a one-time payment for the first 6 months of the fiscal year before the fee went into effect. And that was approximately $162,000. So that's why we're at 80% of revenues through 6 months of the fiscal year. Expenditures are on track also, so the financials of the district are in order, but we're glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? If not, we'll move now to our status report from our ECD Supervisor, Kathleen Watkins.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. A recap for the Christmas Day bombing in Nashville. As you're aware, our center was not one that was unaffected by the events that took place that day. On that morning that afternoon around 12:17, our 911 lines failed. Around 9:19 a.m. the following day on December 26th, our lines were routed to the Verizon cell phone that is in dispatch. Each of the dispatch consoles have a cell phone just in the event of an emergency like this. So I was very happy about that. On 12/26 at 3:26, the 911 lines were rerouted to additional administrative line that was in dispatch. And then on 12/27, approximately 12:28, the first 911 call was received by our Brentwood ECD. on the actual 911 line. And then at 4:53, AT&T did 911 testing, and it was successful. And the lines were taken off of that administrative reroute. I'd like to thank John Allman and Dan Harrison and anyone else from technology that helped us through this difficult time. As you can imagine, it was pretty stressful for the dispatchers that were working, but they powered through like they always do, and I'm proud of the work that they did that day. As far as the telecommunicator CPR, as you're aware, on January 1st, we started answering or providing CPR for any calls that we received where the patients were in cardiac arrest. I did a check this morning, and we've had 7 calls that we classified as CPR. Out of those 7, 2, the telecommunicator actually started initiating the TCPR protocol. However, it was determined that those patients were not in actual cardiac arrest. One of the patients started talking, and then the other one appeared to have agonal breathing, but then started breathing normally, which we're happy about that. But we haven't actually had to perform any TCPR at this point. The dispatchers were all trained. They took a 3-hour course on the virtual academy, and Lieutenant Mike McCutcheon provided a 2-hour in-person training for all the dispatchers where they each got certified in CPR. And then we did some role-playing scenarios, and we listened to some of the calls that we had received prior to January 1st, just to try to go over them and to kind of advise the dispatchers where they would have had to change their form of questioning to start the CPR that we have to provide now. Some legislative bills that we're keeping an eye on. There are 2 that are that will affect dispatch. 2 of them are the Emergency Communications Board has developed a plan that text to 911 has to begin January 1st of 2023. Like I said, these are ones we are watching. And then the other one is that ECDs will have to utilize a direct dispatch method in response to emergency 911 calls, where that's going to take effect January 1st, 2022. These are not definite. They are slated. So not sure if they will actually go into effect or not, but we're watching them. The CAD consolidation project, Brentwood, Williamson County, and Central Square are all talking. We're in conversation about the CAD consolidation. Back in 2015, the CAD to CAD had started that project, and it fell to the wayside. There were some issues with that, but there's some new technology. And so we are in those conversations again. As far as personnel go, we have 12 dispatchers now, which is a great thing. We had 11, now we've got 12, and 2 of those are still in training, and hopefully one of them will be off training at the end of February, and then the other one just started in December. So we are at full staffed, and yeah, it looks good in dispatch now. So all the chairs are full, and we're raring to go. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, that is the end of my report for today.
I had a quick question. You had mentioned the Christmas Day bombing and the course of events.
Yes, sir.
Are there any changes, or is there a study being done to see if there's any updates or changes or anything that we learned from that that might help us improve?
I would say yes. I don't want to speak for our technology department, but I do believe that there are some conversations. There's going to be an after action report done to try to figure out ways that we can mitigate that from happening in the future. I will say though that Brentwood was set apart from some of the other ECDs in our state, and the fact that we do not have AT&T for our non-emergency lines. We were able to reroute those 911 calls to our non-emergency lines, where some ECDs have AT&T for both 911 and their non-emergency lines. So they did not have, I don't want to call it a luxury like we did, but at that time, that's probably what it was, that we were able to transfer those calls because we didn't have AT&T for both 911 and for our non-emergency lines. So those conversations, like I said, there's going to be an after action report with technology and I think some of the other players involved.
If I could, Mayor and Commissioners, kind of following up on Kathleen's answer there, yes, there are a variety of conversations going on across the state, as you can imagine. And I think the primary conversation is with AT&T and the State Emergency Communications Board, because this incident brought to light the fact that there was a single point of failure somewhere along the line, or something else failed on AT&T's side. So I know AT&T is the State Emergency Communications Board meeting in February. AT&T is supposed to be present for that and to provide a report with regards to what happened and what their actions are. Because there's obviously two parts of this. Our own, as Kathleen said, our own phone system really never failed. It was the statewide 911 system that routes through all of AT&T's network that failed. So we got somewhat to answer for that relative to the redundancy in their network. But even though our lines didn't go down, Franklin and Williamson County, who have AT&T for their phone network, they did lose that, and as you can imagine, we have Comcast, but it could just as easily have gone the other way, been a Comcast issue that knocked our lines down. So while we have redundancy in all of our data and internet connections, phone lines is not one we do, other than the Verizon cell phones, as that's been our backup, as Kathleen mentioned. But that is an issue that technology is pursuing, is our ability to have the backup phone system in place also beyond just cell phone. And that's a situation that's being discussed countywide, not just our situation. But we hope to be able to, when John gets back to work, bring you that briefing, probably latter part of February, maybe your second briefing in February, once we learn kind of what AT&T and the state are discussing. We'll be in a little better situation to kind of provide you an overview of both what happened, best we understand it statewide, and then some of the actions that we're looking at taking here locally.
Kathleen or Kurt, kind of on those same lines, do you, either one of you know, does the state contract with AT&T make reps and warranties around redundancy? And if you know, great. If not, and you need to research, that's fine too.
Well, again, I know that there was an understanding or a belief, I guess is the way I can say it, from the state ECD board, that the arrangement with AT&T had redundancy. Now, technically what that looks like, Commissioner, I don't know. But the idea that this one incident in one spot took out that network, I think, was a surprise to everybody at the state level. And that's hopefully what we'll learn more about when the state ECD board meets next week, as to what exactly happened there. But there was supposed to be, obviously didn't work, and that's what's being figured out.
Okay, that's unfortunate, but I understand. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. Kathleen, thank you very much. The report was very timely, and I know it's all still fresh on everyone's mind. The professionalism that you exhibited tonight and just presenting that to us just shows what you and your team are all about. And I just wanted to say thank you, because you've worked hard through this crisis, and all of them should know they're much appreciated.
I appreciate that. And I have shared those sentiments with them as well. Any emails that I received from any of the commissioners or yourself, I did forward those to them. And myself, I acknowledged all of the ones that were working. I can't take any credit for anything that happened that weekend. The dispatchers all did it with the help of our technology department. So that's all on them. But I appreciate it.
Thank you, staff too. Well, that completes, unless there's other new business a commissioner has, that completes our requirement of a quarterly meeting of the Emergency Communications District. And I call this meeting adjourned.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Brentwood, Tennessee for Monday, January 25th, 2021. Let the record reflect that all commissioners are present except for Commissioner Smithson. We are all participating electronically, and I will now read a order statement from the state allowing us to have electronic meetings. As you may know, Governor Bill Lee issued Executive Order 16 on March 16th and extended its provisions by Executive Order 34 on May 6th. Executive Order 51 on June 29, Executive Order 60 on August 28, Executive Order 65 on October 28, and Executive Order 71 on December 22nd. These orders were issued to ensure that government continues to function openly and transparently during the COVID-19 emergency, while taking appropriate measures to protect the health and safety of citizens and government officials. In his orders, Governor Lee emphasized that in the interest of limiting the community spread of COVID-19, private and governmental entities of all types should eliminate large public gatherings and conduct business remotely by electronic means to the greatest extent possible. The orders provide that governments may meet to conduct essential business by electronic means when the governing body determines that doing so is necessary to protect citizens. Sadly, COVID-19 continues to spread across the state and Williamson County. Therefore, the city has determined that in the best interest of protecting the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans and the citizens of Brentwood, it is necessary for the Board of Commissioners to meet partially electronically rather than in person. We have posted the link for public viewing on the city's website and social media pages, and we have disseminated the same to the media. We'll now move to our invocation by Commissioner Andrews.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together to peacefully conduct the business of Brentwood, Tennessee. Please grant us the wisdom and the discernment to make good decisions on behalf of our citizens and all of our constituencies here. And please look over all of our leaders across the country and grant them the vision to make good decisions on the behalf of all of us. Please look after all of our first responders and frontline personnel that are helping our community in navigating the challenges that we have, pandemic and otherwise. Please bless these proceedings and help us see your wisdom in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. We'll now have our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Dunn. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, that will call forward Chief Foss here, or there we go.
My apologies for the delay. I was doing the technical aspects figuring out here. Mayor and Commissioners, it's been a little while since we've had some promotional movement in our organization, but given the limitations we had on bringing them before you, we decided to wait rather than do it virtually, so we could do this in person. And it's one of our greatest honors to see people advance within our organization, especially when we have the caliber of personnel that we do here in Brentwood. There's no need to look outside when those that you are looking to promote could get a job in any other department in the state and certainly in the country. So it's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you some folks who have moved up the career ladder. First is Jacob Lampley. Jacob was promoted to lieutenant effective December 20th. He has been with our department for just over 7 years and most recently served as an engineer paramedic here at Station 1. In addition to his response role, he has also served as quality control reviewer for our fire incident reporting system, database manager, and most recently took on the task of redeveloping a program to address and improve the overall wellness of our members. Lieutenant Lampley will complete his degree in fire science in March and is a two-time recipient of the department's Medical Service Award, which, as you know, is a life save. So I wanted to introduce you to Jacob Lampley and allow him to introduce who he has with him.
This is my wife, Kendra, daughters, Lenore and Piper.
Next, we have Battalion Chief Derek Hyde. Derek is an 18-year veteran of our department and was also promoted to rank of Battalion Chief on December 20th. He serves as our department's accreditation manager and has been key in our agency's successful bid for accreditation in 2014, our annual compliance reports, and reaccreditation in 2019. That's in addition to his role as a highly respected company officer. He has his associate's degree in fire science from Ball State, bachelor's degree in political science from MTSU. Chief Hyde was named Firefighter of the Year in 2015 and earned his Fire Officer designation from the Center for Public Safety Excellence's Commission on Professional Credentialing in 2016, in addition to numerous medical service awards. Derek, you want to introduce us to your family?
This is my son Spencer, my daughter Kennedy, my other son Cody, and my beautiful wife Abby.
And last but certainly far from least is our new Deputy Fire Chief, replacing Chief Lindrop on his retirement, Brian Collins. Chief Collins is a 19-year veteran of the Fire and Rescue Department, where he has served as Battalion Chief since 2013. Chief Collins has been a key member of our senior leadership team, playing a significant role also in our accreditation process, officer development, IT initiatives, in addition to an untold number of other duties and responsibilities. In addition to his local involvement, he has also served in numerous committees and in countless other capacities on the state, regional, and national level. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Fire Protection Administration from Eastern Kentucky University and a Master of Public Administration from Tennessee State University. Additionally, he is credentialed as an Executive Fire Officer through the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and holds his Chief Fire Officer designation from the Center for Public Safety Excellence's Commission on Professional Credentialing, the only member within our organization to hold both of those qualifications. During his career in Brentwood, he has been bestowed with numerous medical service awards for his life-saving work as a paramedic, in addition to Firefighter of the Year in 2007, the Civic Award in 2011, and a Meritorious Service Award, one of only 3 ever awarded in 2017. So I would like Chief Collins to introduce us to his guest.
Absolutely. This is my fiance Allie. my son Gavin, my daughter Hannah, and my mom Beverly.
Thank you, Chief. All right, that's wonderful. And now we're going to move to oath of two of our newest police officers.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, while they're coming up, I want to thank you for recognizing us last as always saving the best for last when it comes to the public safety side of department heads. Seriously, I want to congratulate my colleagues who were just recognized on the fire side. We have two. I'll tell you a little bit about Officer Patton. Officer Ayla Patton joined the Brentwood Police Department on August the 31st of 2020. Ayla is originally from Nashville and is a 2016 graduate of Sycamore High School in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Ayla received her Bachelor's of Science degree in Criminal Justice from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga in 2019. Prior to accepting a position with Brentwood, Ayla interned at the Pleasant View Police Department, as well as Partnership for Families, Children, and Adults Crisis Resource Center. Ayla currently resides in Jolton, Tennessee. She is a graduate of the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy as of December the 17th, 2020, and she is currently in our field training program. We are pleased to have Ayla as an employee and welcome her to the Brentwood Police Department family.
Good evening. You will raise your right hand. I, Ayla Patton,
I, Ayla Patton,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
for the duties of police officer
for the duties of a police officer
as prescribed
as prescribed
by the City of Brentwood,
by the City of Brentwood,
and that I will support the Constitution
and that I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
that I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brentwood, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Chief. Thanks for the leave.
Next, I would like to introduce Officer Josh McGee. Josh, why don't you introduce who you have with you as your guest first?
Yes, sir. It's my mom, Dawn, my girlfriend, Jenna, and
Now, let me tell you a little bit about Josh. Josh McGee joined the Brentwood Police Department on January the 4th, 2021. Josh is from the San Diego County, California. He graduated from Ramona High School in 2004. He then attended San Diego Community College before enlisting in the United States Air Force. Josh served in the United States Air Force for 6 years, beginning in 2008, and was deployed to Afghanistan on one combat tour during that time. Post-military, Josh returned to Afghanistan for another tour with a defense contractor. Josh began his law enforcement career as a police officer with the city of San Diego, California, where he served for 3 years. Josh currently resides in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with his girlfriend Jenna and his 2 daughters, Kelsey and Katie. Josh is currently in the field training program and is scheduled to attend the Tennessee Law Enforcement Transition School in the spring of 2021. As a note of interest, Josh's father raced in the Winston Cup Series and actually gave driving lessons to Bruce Willis and Tom Cruise. So we're hoping that he will have learned something from his father when it comes to his driving skills. We are pleased to have Josh as an employee and welcome him to the Brentwood Police Department family.
Before we start, just always remember to take 2 left side tires before you actually need them. So, all right, raise your right hand. I, Joshua McGee,
I, Joshua McGee,
do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the duties of police officer as prescribed by the city of Brentwood, and that I will support the Constitution and will obey the laws of the United States and the state of Tennessee. That I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and ordinances of the city of Brentwood, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You've been here an hour.
Hey, Joshua.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move to our approval and corrections of minutes for the January 12th, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Or
Motion
second.
by Vice Mayor and motion by, or second by Commissioner McMillan. Mr. Badnar?
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn,
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman,
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis,
Aye.
and Mayor Little.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Now we'll move to comments from citizens. Is there anyone here for comments this evening?
There are no citizens for public comment.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll now move to our report from our city manager.
Mayor and Commissioner, just a couple items tonight. One, just a reminder that this Thursday, January the 28th, we will have our initial budget kickoff meeting for fiscal year 2022, which starts July 1st. That meeting will start at 4 p.m. and will be electronic on WebEx. So it will be streamed, just like this meeting's being streamed, so the public can watch it online, just like all of our meetings have been for the last year or so. Again, that's 4 o'clock this Thursday, January the 28th. And second, I'd like to have Assistant City Manager Jay Evans provide an update on a I got to say it, a cat burglary that we had over the weekend. So
Oh,
Thanks for that gem there, Kirk. How sad would little children be without a cat under our library tree? I'm happy to say that as we meet, our cat is now positioned back on his seat. Commissioners, our traditional media and social media posts that went out today were very successful. Within 6 hours, I received a phone call from a young person who was very contrite and very apologetic, indicated that they had made a very bad decision in removing our cat and his seat, which are the books. He somewhat threw himself on the mercy of the court, and we told him, by the way, he informed me that the cat was already back. So he had already replaced the cat back where he belonged. And we told him that in consideration of stepping forward and doing the right thing, that we would call it even as long as our cat is in good health. And Deanna has taken a picture of him tonight, and he appears to be okay. So wanted to share that good news with you.
That's great news. It's wonderful.
so that's all I have, Mayor, unless there's any questions of myself or Mr. Evans.
Any questions? Hearing none, we'll move to our report from our city attorney.
sorry, I cannot follow poetry, but I have no report for you all tonight. Thank you.
We thought you might sing.
Next time, maybe.
Okay. All right. We'll move now to our reports from our commissioners and Vice Mayor and Mayor. We'll start with Commissioner Corbin.
Thank you, Commissioner Little, or Mayor Little. My apologies for that. I have no report. Thank you.
Thank you. No apologies needed. I'm proud to be a commissioner. Commissioner Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. The tree board is meeting tomorrow morning at 7:30. We are preparing for Arbor Day, and probably the top of the agenda is having a plan both for an in-person Arbor Day if able, and a virtual Arbor Day if not. So we're trying to work through the details on that. We are running the essay contest and the poster contest as always. The materials are going out to the schools, and look forward to an enthusiastic participation in that, and I continue to work through that. With the park board, we have not met since our last commission meeting, and well, yes, that's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Andrews. Commissioner McMillan.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I just want to say again, congratulations to our fire department promotions, Brian Collins, Derek Hyde, and Jacob Lampley. We obviously have some very talented individuals, and we're very fortunate to have them here in Brentwood. And to welcome to the new police officers, Ayla Patton and Joshua McGee. And again, Chief, good find on those. That's great. Really appreciate all you put in to find great officers for Brentwood. So thank you, and welcome to y'all both.
Thank you. And now Commissioner Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to congratulate our fire department gentlemen who were promoted. It's well deserved, and I know they'll do a splendid job, and want to welcome aboard our 2 new police officers. Hope they spend a long time here in Brentwood. And while we're on the subject of the police department, I want to thank Jody Rawl and Katie Winston for organizing this wonderful celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Brentwood Police Department. So far, I've seen all sorts of cookies and cupcakes and wonderful things to eat. And I know there's a fundraising effort going on, but it's so nice that this is generated by the community and not by the city. It just shows the appreciation that our residents have for them, and it's well deserved. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Commissioner Dunn. Vice Mayor Travis.
Can you still hear me? Thank you, Mayor.
I'm disconnected from the phone. If you want me to call back in or?
Yeah, just call back in. That'll be fine. I'll just wait. Probably the thunder and lightning. Got a cell tower or something.
I think I'm back. Got me? Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to the fire and police personnel for the promotions and for the new hires. And if you're sitting up here and you get to see those quality people that were just stood before us, it just makes you proud. And congratulations to our police chief and fire chief who did a wonderful job on that. The Planning Commission will have an info meeting on Thursday, January 28th at 8 a.m. virtually. The regular Planning Commission meeting will be Monday, February 1st at 7 p.m. virtually. Also want to echo Commissioner Dunn's references to the police celebration and the good work that Katie and Jody have done pulling together a celebration for the Brentwood Police Department's 50th celebration. I just found out before walking into the meeting tonight that the Puffy Muffin is selling some special cookies with the logo, the 50th anniversary logo, and all monies that go to that will go to the travel fund that we're trying to raise to send Destin Legaze's family to the celebration of his life. So if you get a chance, go buy Puffy Muffin and buy some cookies. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to start this evening by something I got to do before the commission meeting this evening, and that was meet with Pack 6, Den 8 from Crockett Hill Elementary School. Thanks to the 10 leaders, Mr. McCoy and Ms. Fest. If they're an example of our youth that are coming up, we're in good hands in the future. I was very impressed. Very excellent questions and very good discussions about city government and the city of Brentwood. Can't go without a plug that I'm thankful that our Predators are playing hockey again and look forward to them having a great season, hopefully. It's been kind of wonderful the last few weeks getting to watch hockey in the playoffs. So hate that our Titans didn't make it, but it's still been very enjoyable getting to see sports. Kind of gives you a little sense of normalcy. I was on a call with the governor today, along with several other mayors. Probably the main takeaway I got from it mainly dealt with the vaccine. I think Dr. Percy and Dr. Pincus here in the state's efforts here. The main issue has been they were anticipating 300,000 doses of vaccine every week and had everything ramped up and prepared across the state to deliver those doses, and they've only been getting about 80,000 a week. They're hoping that the pipeline's going to open up better and better as more and more are produced. But I was very impressed with what they're trying to do with the doses they have. And hopefully when the vaccine comes available for individuals, they will take advantage of that, because I think it's one of our best routes of trying to get through this pandemic. Congratulations to Chief Collins, Chief Hyde, and Lieutenant Lampley. Appreciate their service, many years of service to the city and citizens of Brentwood. Our fire department, as far as I'm concerned, is the finest in the world. And I want to congratulate Officer McGee and Officer Patton and their willingness to serve us with our police department, who I also feel like is the finest in the world as they serve the city and citizens of Brentwood. And as Commissioner Dunn mentioned, we're having a wonderful celebration of the police department of Brentwood. And I wanted to give just a little short history. Of course, Brentwood became a city in 1969, but even then didn't have its own police department. Chief Howard Buttry was hired to oversee the department, and he got a $40,000 grant from the federal government and started. He got that grant on April 1st, 1971. The police department, of course, was started on February 1st. There were 4 officers, Chief Buttry and the other 3, and they each were assigned to a shift every day. 50 years later, there are now 67 officers, and including one K-9 patrol team, 12 911 dispatchers, and 6 administrative personnel. Chief Hughes has served with the department for 35 of the 50 years. He credits his predecessors for setting the department's foundation for what has become, under Buttrey's leadership, was internationally accredited back in 1989. I'm actually one of the first ones around here to be, and is now Tennessee's most tenured agency that is accredited. Chief Buttrey retired in 2000 and was succeeded by Chief Ricky Watson, who many of you remember and know. And he continued until he retired in 2012, and Chief Hughes became only the third chief in the department's here. The city of Brentwood and the Brentwood Police Department have special things planned for this year. Officers will begin wearing a special commemorative badge in March. The badge includes an old model police cruiser, the new headquarters building, and the number 1282, which is employee number for Officer Destin Legeza, who was killed in the line of duty in June 2020. To date, he is the only Brentwood police officer that's died in the 50-year history of the city. Legeza's family and several officers plan to attend National Police Week in Washington, D.C. in May to honor his memory. We will soon be moving into a 56,000 square foot police headquarters. Our police department will, under construction on Heritage Way, hopefully to be ready by the spring. And at that police headquarters, there will be a memorial wall and an honor wall, memory of Officer Legeza, and to honor past police officers and those with the city who've served and protected us. Chief Hughes, there's a lion that will be in front of that memorial, as there is in Washington, D.C., that was paid for by funds raised by private citizens, which is pretty amazing. Chief Hughes said Proverbs 28:1 reads, "The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as lions." And the lions have always been a symbol of those who serve and protect us. And I want to both honor our Brentwood Police Department and honor Officer Legeza. I'm going to wear his number 282 for the rest of the evening in honor of him and in his memory, and in honor of our excellent police department. We'll now move to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda is read as one item. Any citizen or commissioner can pull that off the ordinance, and we can vote on it on the regular agenda, but otherwise, it's so we're doing this one item after read. Consent agenda item 1, ordinance 2021-01, an ordinance amended the municipal code by revising section 209 in regard to purchasing and competitive bidding for consideration on second and final reading. Consent agenda item 2, resolution 2021-07, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Insight Software for software support services for Budget Accelerator and Spreadsheet Server for adoption. Consent agenda item 3, resolution 2021-12, a resolution authorizing the use of a competitive sealed proposals process for third-party payment condition ranking services pursuant to section 2-209 of the Brentwood Municipal Code for adoption. Consent agenda item 4, resolution 2021-13, a resolution authorizing the use of a competitive sealed proposals process for audio production services for the summer concert series pursuant to section 2-209 of the Brentwood Municipal Code for adoption. Consent agenda item 5, resolution 2021-14, a resolution authorizing the use of a competitive sealed proposals process for repairs to Bowling Spring Academy pursuant to section 2-209 of the Brentwood Municipal Code for adoption. Consent agenda item 6, resolution 2021-15, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Tennessee Department of Health for funding for the Wilson County Health Department for adoption. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Approve.
Motion by Commissioner McMillan, a second by Commissioner Andrews. Mr. Bednar, the roll call.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn,
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman,
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis,
Aye.
and Mayor Little.
Aye. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Is there any other old business before the city? Seeing none, I ask that we move to new business. New business item 1, resolution 2021-10. A resolution calling for a public hearing on the proposed annexation of territory in the city of Brentwood by owner consent and the plan of services for said territory located south of Nottoway Lane in the Terramore subdivision for adoption. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Vice Mayor Travis. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrews. Mr. Bednar?
Mayor and Commissioners, the city has received a request to annex approximately 25.25 acres on the southeast side of town. The property owner is Richard McAdams. As you know, annexation in the state of Tennessee is only done through a referendum or at property owner request. So this one is at property owner request. The piece of property has an address of 715 Vernon Road. That's its access point today. It is adjacent to the Terramore subdivision. And the New Bristol Lane within the Terramore subdivision is sub to the property. Now, the resolution tonight is just the start of the annexation process, if approved. This is not the final vote to annex. It simply indicates your direction to the city staff to proceed with the annexation scheduling of the different steps and considerations, as well as the final preparation of a plan of services. Again, the property is a little over 25 acres. It's currently in the Williamson County unincorporated area and zone MGA 1, which is the minimum 1 acre lot development if it were to develop in the county. The applicant has indicated that if annexation is approved, he would request the city zoning be R1, which is minimum 2 acre lots. I believe we have a slide of a conceptual development plan of the property there. A feature note there is that the property does include a portion of the proposed right-of-way for a future extension of McEwen Drive, and that is reflected in that development or that conceptual development plan there. If you approve this resolution tonight, the public hearing would be scheduled for your March 22nd meeting. Between now and then, at the March 1st meeting, the Planning Commission would consider the proposed annexation and plan of services and provide recommendation to you. After the public hearing on March 22nd, the rezoning process would start for the property so that the rezoning and the annexation vote can both occur on the same evening, which would now be scheduled for May 24th, to allow the rezoning process to run concurrent and be considered at the same time as a final vote on the annexation. That would all be May 24th. And again, that's subject to approval of this resolution this evening. We do have a representative of the applicant who is online on the meeting. If you have questions, I was not necessarily going to ask them to speak to the matter unless there are questions from the commissioners.
Hey, Wes, it's Mark Gorman. Does your landowner, do they plan to put deed restrictions in terms of, how many pieces or how many homes can be built on this land, and kind of doing what other developers have done, other landowners have done, tie up these pieces of land so only one home can be built on each parcel? We don't have to worry about it into perpetuity.
Yes, sir. Well, we haven't talked about that specifically, but I'm comfortable saying that we would be fine with doing that. He's not looking to get as many houses on this property as he can. In fact, he plans on building his own personal residence here. He currently lives in the city of Brentwood and has for 25 years, and plans on probably building his final house out here. So
Very good. Thank you. Looks to be a beautiful piece of property. Thank you.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Are there any other questions of Mr. Harris? Any questions of city staff? Not, I'll call for the roll call vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn,
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman,
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis,
Aye.
and Mayor Little.
Aye. Resolution 2021-10 passes unanimously. So I guess we'll have a public hearing on March 22nd.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to item number 2 under new business, Resolution 2021-11, a resolution authorizing extending staff review and approval of limited temporary outdoor seating at restaurants until March 31st, 2021. Do I hear a motion? I'll do a motion on that. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Travis. Mr. Bednar?
Mayor and Commissioners, this item, as you recall, back in October, you approved some expedited review of these requests in lieu of COVID challenges for restaurants, and in lieu of a full site plan and planning commission review, you directed staff to try to expedite the reviews of any restaurants that wanted to have outdoor seating during this COVID time period, within certainly still some limitations relative to safety and space and ADA compliance and those things. That was originally adopted in October, and that authorization ran until the end of December. As you know, we're in the winter months, so outdoor seating use is fairly limited this time of the year. So at your direction, we have prepared this resolution to extend any of those approvals and continue to offer that opportunity for any other restaurants that may choose to take advantage of it on a short-term basis. As written, this resolution would extend that authorization and allow staff review and approval of those through the end of March 31st. I know on Thursday there was some discussion about perhaps extending that to April 30th. If that is the will of the commission tonight, we would need an amendment, a motion to amend the resolution to make that date April 30th, and then obviously a second and a vote on that amendment, and then a vote on the original motion.
I'm prepared to make that amendment. I would like to amend Resolution 2021-11 and move the date from March 31st, 2021 to April 30th, 2021.
I'll second.
All right, we have an amendment on the floor. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call.
Mayor.
Oh, excuse me,
Real quick.
Commissioner McMillan.
I just wanted to ask while we were on this topic in general, Kirk, is Planning and Codes, is Jeff or whoever going to maybe reach out to these restaurants and kind of let them know the deadline, and that if they wanted to apply for more, we talked about this Thursday, if they wanted to apply for something more permanently, that they should do that?
Yeah, certainly. As we discussed Thursday, there have been 2 restaurants so far that have taken advantage of this, and certainly we will reach out to those 2 to let them know that their authorization continues through the end of April, but that if they do wish to, based upon their experience so far, make this more of a permanent arrangement, then that staff is happy to work with them and advise them on the necessary steps needed to get a formal planning commission approval, which is the ultimate correct way to do this.
All right, no further questions or comments. Mr. Bednar, will ask for a roll call vote on the amendment.
Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn?
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman?
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis?
Aye.
And Mayor Little.
Aye. Amendment to Resolution 2021-11 passes, and now we'll move back to the initial motion on the floor. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask Mr. Bednar for the roll call.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Dunn,
Aye.
Commissioner Gorman,
Aye.
Commissioner McMillan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Travis,
Aye.
and Mayor Little.
Aye. Resolution 2021-11 passes unanimously as amended. We'll now move to other new business. This is a notice of future appointment of 2 members to the Board of Zoning Appeals for information only.
Just a quick note, Mayor, that the appointments will be made at your March 8th meeting, and the application deadline for any interested citizens is February 15th. Applications can be done online at the city's website. If anybody has any questions or problems with the online form, they can call City Hall and speak to our city recorder, Holly Earl.
All right. Any other comments this evening? Hearing no other new business for the city of Brentwood, I move that the commission meeting be adjourned.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Believe it's raining hard out there.
I'm not running out. What? Get out of here early.